my beginner's guide to Terraria. I'm putting together this series of video guides in order to help those people who are interested in this game but don't have the time to discover or research it all on their own. That said, let's get started. First thing we want to do, go to Settings, General, Auto Pause, On. This is the only way to pause the game, and it will pause the game every time you press Escape and open up your inventory. This is very helpful to new players, as in the middle of a hard fight, it gives you the opportunity to stop the action, figure out what you want to do, find whatever potion you need to use, and have a chance of surviving. Next thing we want to do is go into Video. Most of this stuff is just polish, but if you go into Resolution, this is very interesting. Most of the time resolution only affects 3D games, how sharp the picture is. In Terraria it works as kind of a magnifying or zoom effect. The lower the resolution, the bigger your character and all the graphics are going to be, but you can't see as far away. Higher resolution, your character is going to be tiny in the middle of the screen, but you can see really far in all directions. Therefore, I highly recommend playing on the highest resolution possible. But if you find yourself squinting or you feel an eye strain, maybe bring it down a step or two, just so you can see what's going on. Next up, we want to go into Controls, and now main thing we want to look at here is Quick Heal, Quick Mana, Quick Buff, and these two, Auto Select and Smart Cursor. The defaults for these are way too hard to reach in the middle of combat or something, and that's when you really need them. We want them to be as close to our default hand position as possible, so we're going to put Quick Heal on Q, Quick Mana on left Alt, Quick Buff on left Control, Auto Select on left Shift, and Smart Cursor on X. This way we can quickly use these things. And with that, we are set up and ready to create a character, create a world, and start playing. So we're going to go to Single Player, and this brings us to our character list. Here you can see I've got a ton of characters at various stages of gameplay. We're going to start with a fresh one, so we're going to create character, and most important thing is basically your hairstyle, and you can change colors on most of your different aspects. Another important thing is here where it says Softcore. This is basically the difficulty for your character. Softcore, you drop half your money when you die. That's the least punishing way to die. Dropping all your items really stinks. It might as well kill you forever, because later on you're going to have items that are almost irreplaceable. So you're either going to be playing hardcore where you die forever, or softcore most of the time. You're going to die a lot as you start playing this game, so stick with softcore for now. You can also change male or female, and you can random it up if you want. Find something you like, and give them a name. A new character. Alright, so there they are in our list. Select them. Now we choose a world for them to play. We're going to create a new world for the new character. The only thing to choose here, small, medium, or large. Small is perfect for one player. Anything bigger than that, you're going to spend a lot of time walking back and forth between the different biomes, and it's just unnecessary. Small will have everything that one or even two characters really needs. More than two players, you're going to want maybe medium or large, depending on what you're trying to do. For now, let's go with a small one. The name of your world doesn't show up that much in the game, So I like to tie it into the character. New world. Alright, new world. Basically, when you have 15, 20 characters and just as many worlds, it can be a little bit hard to tell which character was playing on which world, and this way it makes it real obvious. On top of that, I want to point out that characters are not locked into any specific world, so you can, say, create a character here, play with them a little bit in one world, then move them over to a different world, or move items back and forth. You can make a storage world where you keep all your extra loot. Just something to keep in mind. I know in Minecraft the character is basically part of that world. You can't take a character out of one world into another. So just something to keep in mind. So now we have our new world here on our list, and when we click that, here we are. So this is interesting. It put our default spawn location underground. That's the first time that's happened to me. But that's okay. It actually works very well to illustrate my first point. Wherever you spawn into your new world, that is the default spawn location. So until you change your spawn location, this is where you will respawn if you die, or when you rejoin the world, or if you invite a friend to come join your world, this is where they're going to show up. And if you build anything here, it's going to get destroyed. Or if you make a big pit, they'll spawn here, fall down the pit, and take damage or possibly die. So the very first thing I recommend is that you mark your spawn location. To do that, I mean, it's basically already been done for us, but normally what I would do is press the 2 button to select our pickaxe and dig a little U around our first block we're standing on. I'm also going to dig up so that we can actually get out of here. Alright, so now that we have our spawn location marked, we can avoid building anything here. We can kind of preserve this one block so that people are safe when they spawn in. Let's go over the user interface real quick. Top left corner is our toolbar. Each of these items has a number in the top left corner. These correspond to the keys on your keyboard, and you can also use the mouse wheel. You'll also notice that the dirt blocks that we just mined are automatically picked up and put in the first open spot of your inventory. So top right corner, this is our health, represented by the hearts in a very old school video game way. There's also numerical representation above it. Blue stars are your mana, and this is your mini-map. When we press escape, we get our full inventory here. We have our equipment and our accessories. Right now we don't have anything. What we do have is a slime that's about to jump down this pit with us. That's not going to be the best place to fight him. So what we're going to do is we're going to unpause it. I'm going to take out press the 1 button to take out the sword. And I'm going to jump up there and kill him. The green slimes do barely any damage, so they're very suitable first monster for you to encounter. Any green slimes you do see, you want to go out of your way to kill them. They drop gel, which is used to craft potions and torches. So definitely go out of your way, kill those slimes, get some gel. So basic controls: A and D move left and right, spacebar jumps, W and S is up and down. I'm pressing them now and you can see it's not doing anything. They do have uses though, which we'll get into later. Left click uses whatever item you have selected in your toolbar, and right click interacts with things in the world like opening doors, chests, and talking to NPCs. Trent here is our very first NPC. He is known as the guide. Every time you create a new world, the guide will spawn within the same screen as you. Now what he does is when you talk to him, he will help you by telling you what you should be doing right now. Some of his tips are a little bit cryptic and don't exactly tell you how to do the things, you know, like building a shelter. So that's part of the reason why I'm making this guide. The most useful thing he does though is when you click on crafting, it gives you this little box that says place a material here. Any material you have in your inventory you can place in that box, and he'll show you everything that can be crafted with that material and what other materials you need to make that item. Very handy. So you want to make sure that you take your item back out of that box, otherwise when you escape it drops it on the ground. There it goes. So now we know how to play the game. We're going to take out our axe and start cutting down trees. Now when you cut down a tree, you just hold down the left mouse button and you want to chop the tree from the very base. If you chop it up here, it's going to leave a little stump that you're going to have to deal with later. Also, trees drop acorns. Plant them right away so that they can grow into more trees. Another thing to note, it takes the exact same amount of time to chop down a big tree as it does chop down a short tree. So why waste time chopping down all the little trees? Just go for the big ones. Clear this grass and plant the acorns. You need wood all throughout the game, and if you don't plant those acorns, then you may find yourself out of wood and out of trees. They don't naturally grow on their own, so you have to keep planting those things. We're just going to keep chopping these trees down until we get about 200 blocks of wood or so. I'll kill this slime over here. You'll notice I just killed him with the pickaxe. The tools do about the same amount of damage as the weapons right now, so just use whatever you have on hand. So I think that ought to do it. I'm going to place the rest of these acorns, and now we're ready to start crafting. Alright, so I got my gel here. First thing we want to craft is some torches. Now torches can be made anywhere. We don't have to be near a crafting station or anything. So we just use the mouse wheel to cycle through the different things we can craft, and left click to make 3 torches. We're going to put those up in our toolbar, and when we select them, you see your guy is now holding torches. And they work kind of like a flashlight. Everywhere around you gets lit up, so very handy to have on your toolbar. Also, torches can be placed on the ground or up on a wall or on a tree, and they can be taken down by right clicking on them. Next thing we want to do is make our first crafting station. Workbench. Takes 10 wood to make it, so we're going to left click that, put it in our toolbar, select it, and plant it on the ground. Now if we're standing anywhere near this crafting station, we now have a much wider variety of items that we can make. We want to make a set of wooden armor, a wooden hammer, and a couple of pieces of furniture for our first house. We can see the wood helmet costs 20. We put it in the helmet row of our equipment column. You see it show up on our character there. Wood breastplate, wood greaves. Now you see it hasn't really updated yet. We still have no defense. That's because the game's paused. So we're gonna escape twice, there we see the equipment took place. We now have 3 defense. Now you'll notice the helmet gives us 1, the breastplate gives us 1, greaves don't give us anything. But we have 3 defense. That's because of the set bonus 1 defense. The set bonus happens when you're wearing a matching set of armor. The current set bonus of 1 defense is not that great, but it gets very, very, very substantial later on in the game. So down here, this shows us our total defense from armor, accessories, active potions, and any other sources. And the way defense works is it reduces damage by half of this number rounded up. So right now, anytime my character gets hit, it's going to be reduced by 2. Half of 3 rounded up is 2. So that's the way that defense works. So that's our armor. We're also going to craft a wooden hammer. That's going to come in handy when we're building our first house. And now we're going to pick up our workbench. To do that, we select our copper pickaxe and just hit the workbench with it. It breaks it off the ground, automatically puts it back in our inventory. So we want to find or make a suitable location for our first house. There's a lot of trees over here. I'm thinking we'll just cut these down and build it right here next to our default spawn. So housing is basically just for the NPCs. You don't really need your own house. You can make your own if you want, but you don't have to have them. NPCs will move into a suitable house, and they will stay there during the night to avoid not getting killed by zombies. And they also do not wander far from their house, which makes them very easy to find. So we're just going to place the wood blocks down and make something of a box around ourselves. And then we're going to put our workbench down so that we can craft the furniture we need to make it a real house. We need a door, we need a chair, and we need a table. It doesn't strictly have to be a wooden chair and a wooden table. What it really needs to be is a comfort item, like something you could sit on. Humorously, a toilet counts as something you can sit on. And then a flat surface that you could place items on. So a wooden table will work for this. We're going to select those and plant them down on the ground. The direction your character is facing will determine the direction that chairs and certain items are placed. And there we have our chair and table. We also want a door. To place a door, we need to cut a hole in one of the outside walls, exactly 3 tiles high. Select our door and click at either the base or the top of the opening. That plants the door there, and we can right click to open and close it. I'm just going to pick up my workbench for a second to show you it opens based on what direction I'm facing. If you have a table or something in the way, you can't open it. So just something to keep in mind. The other thing it needs is a light source, so we're going to plant a torch on that wall there. And the last thing it needs is a back wall. Now this is where the game really got confusing for me, is I thought that walls were these walls. And I've seen a number of people that first start out playing the game kind of make that same mistake. So when the game calls something a wall, they're talking about the wall behind your character. Also, you'll notice I crafted these very quickly. That's done by holding down the right mouse button, and it'll just craft them in a big hurry like that. We want to go ahead and craft as many of these as we can, because we can turn them back into wood when we're done. So there's no harm in making extras. We can fix it later. With those selected, we're just going to paint them into the background behind us. And don't worry if you go outside the lines. That's what the hammer's for. You select the hammer and clean that up. Also, second thing the hammer does is it will change the shape of blocks when you hit it. So that can be very handy for making little decorative things. Now that we've got the back wall in, this should be a suitable house. So we're gonna check that by coming over here, clicking on this little house here above the equip column, and we have this question mark, and we have Trent the Guide, his little portrait there. When we click on this question mark and then click on our new house, it'll tell us the housing is suitable or not. If it was not suitable, chances are it's too small, or you're missing either the light source, the table, the chair, or the door. If it was too small, just knock down a wall, extend it out, connect it, fill in the back wall, rinse and repeat. But since this housing is suitable, we're going to assign the guide to it by clicking his portrait and clicking on the house. Now that you see his banner here, that means that this house belongs to Trent the Guide. He will move into this house when it's nighttime and stay in there to avoid getting killed by the zombies. He will also not wander very far from this house, making it real easy to find him, as I said earlier. So now that we know this is valid housing, we're going to close the housing menu and get back to the game. Last thing I want to do is convert our wood walls back into regular wood. And any leftovers we have, just throw them in the trash. We don't need it. Make more later. And we're going to take our workbench with us, and we are ready to start exploring the overworld. But that's going to be for the next episode. So be sure to like this episode if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to get an update when I post the second episode. We are going to explore the area around us, kind of see where we are, what's nearby, what are our neighboring biomes, and do a little bit of minor spelunking and see what happens. So thanks for watching.